So we begin with the Daily Mail, Leo.
So they have banks face probe into chilling account closures. This follows Nigel Farage's account being closed. The bank said it's because he's a politically exposed person. But they've also closed the accounts of people who aren't politically exposed. They closed the account of a reverend because Richard Fothergill, Reverend Richard Fothergill, he just questioned why they had so much pride, progress flags and all the rest of it in the branch. And as a result, they cancelled his account. And
that was the Yorkshire. Is that the Yorkshire Building Society?
Yes,
Yorkshire Bank?
and he's from Windermere, where I went to school. Total legend, Richard Fothergill.
Is it a Cumbria-Yorkshire clash, do you think? Is that what's...
No, I just think people from Cumbria are inherently sound. And that's what sorry, Leo.
Carry on, Leo.
Yeah, there's also Trigonometry had an issue with their accounts. Lawrence Fox, of course, the Free Speech Union.
There's a chap, I forget his name, but his blog is called Wings Over Scotland. You know this fella, a Scottish political blogger, who I like very much, even though he's pro-independence, which would normally strike against him, but generally pretty sound.
Stuart Campbell.
And he adds him, and he's come under fire as well, and he suspects, he's HSBC, isn't it? And he's actually identified the individuals he thinks have come for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the thing, if you close down, if you've got somebody who runs an investigative blog and you close down their account, they're going to find out why, and they're going to nail you to the wall. So, it's a ridiculous thing to do. But, I mean, what it's revealing is that our banks, like all our institutions, all our corporations, they've been ideologically captured by extreme wokeists, so via, equality, diversity and inclusion and ESG programmes and all the rest of it. Apparently most high street banks are also signed up to the Stonewall Diversity Scheme, which is like a sort of mafia shakedown that says, if you don't give us money, we're going to tell everybody you're not diverse and then nobody's going to like you. So really somebody needs to step in and do something about it.
Yeah. Well, luckily, Jeremy Hunt has now and said he's deeply concerned, so it's all solved.
Yeah.
And a Treasury source has said banks and payment providers occupy a privileged place in society, and it would be a concern if financial services were being denied to those exercising the right of lawful free speech. It's not if, they are. Yeah. And the problem is, so there's currently a 60-day notice period you're supposed to give people if you're going to shut down their account, which is still not ideal because it's like you have 60 days to flee the country. It's it's better than zero, but it's not great. But and you're also supposed to give them a reasonable explanation, and none of those are happening. So they're not enforcing the existing rule, and what they need to do also is go much further and have a rule about protecting free expression. Yeah. But they're not even enforcing what's already there about the notice period.
Well, under the Equality Act, it would be illegal to withdraw somebody's bank account because they're gay or lesbian or something like that. So why don't we add political opinions to the protected characteristics? And then we can't have this... Because, what happens... people will be sitting there saying, well, I don't agree with Farage, so I think it's fine. What if the next people who come along and are in charge of the banks or in charge of everything decide that your opinions are the wrong opinions? Yeah. It's a terrible precedent.
And it is. Obviously, we've seen cases in America, the famous ones with Bake the Cake and so on, the wedding cakes and other sort of fairly minor services, and these are spats. But banking now is considerably more central, even than it was 10 years ago. I mean, it's virtually impossible to survive now without a bank card. Yeah. The cash-based society, any kind of alternative to a well-established electronic banking service is simply not viable.
The only way to survive is to stay permanently overdrawn, because then how are you going to shut the account?
Well, they did that to me about 30 years ago. But that was not because of my politically incorrect opinions. They were just tired of me always getting 47 quid overdrawn. NatWest loss